Okay, so let's start 12:30 here. So welcome colleagues and students. So welcome to today's workshop. So originally it should be a virtual workshop, and I will make the presentations at home. So I know in office, but today's you see my face is the location is different because I actually present in Citus. So we also run this training for Citus also there. So there are few colleagues in the physical room in G1 Learning Common. So first of all, the slide deck. So today we will talk about stable diffusion. So we talk about GPT 2 times, and we talk about Canva. We will talk about Canva. We talk about prediction for Python, etc. Today we will switch our gear a little bit to talk about drawings. Later on next Monday we will talk about Canva AI, which is for graphic design. So which is quite different from text generation, but it's also something that students may want to try. So stable diffusion. So we can check the slide deck. So as well as the materials, we will provide you time, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, depends on the schedule, for you to try stable diffusion. So the learning objectives is more on applying the tools. So to synthesize graphics. So for most of the colleagues or students, or maybe you don't have any drawing training in the past, maybe you are too busy or you work on something else, etc., and you want to make some graphics right now. So maybe AI tools will be quite helpful. Hopefully, you also learn how to describe your image. So the prompt engineering, but in image generation perspective. So you may want to also learn how to describe your image through text. We'll give you 20 minutes about introduction, 15 minutes to go for demo and demonstrations. We will try the Hugging Face environment today. So we will go through this, try some settings, etc. And then we'll share your experience or work or have some QA for 10 minutes at the end. So that's why if you are really interested, please get into those accounts and then try something. We provide you time to share your work. So to all of us. So okay. So again, some literacy trainings. So we go through GPT, we go through Temptation, we talk about prediction for Python. Unfortunately, the Notion AI is just very recently they start to charge, and we find that will be not cost effective. So that's why the free code is not enough for you. It's not enough for you to go through some of the material to work on some tasks. So that's why just skip it. And then we also talk about the stable diffusion today, and then Canva AI next week. So these are for Hong Kong U colleagues and students. Of course, also for these are just for two trainings. We also have a discussion forums for AI policy in Hong Kong U. So we go through the first three already. So next Wednesday we will have the fourth one on the coursework assessment, and then the fifth one will be chaired by Professor Ian Holiday on the AI policy development. So hopefully we will have the draft may be ready June or July, and then approved by Senate, and then we will use it in September. So within Hong Kong U. So that's why feel free to join these forums, give your comments, ideas, let us know, and then we can provide better AI policy for Hong Kong U colleagues and students. Okay, so let's start to talk about AI drawing. I think maybe for most of you or some of you may think, okay, generative AI starts from the ChatGPT. To be honest, I think it actually starts from the summer. So GPT starts at the end of November, but actually all these generative AI discussion starts from summer. If you remember, this is a graphic that actually got a first place award in one of the competitions in the Colorado State Fair Arts competition, and then this got a first place award. And then later on, the author actually mentioned this is not drawn by himself. It's actually he used Midjounrey to draw these figures, and you can see with some artistic looking, and then with maybe delivering some messages, etc. And then you can see the drawings, etc. So and that actually is a good work, but it's actually created by AI. And then actually starting from the summer, there are start to have some discussions on whether this is a work created by human or the ownership, etc. And of course later on, starting with the GPT and then all the discussions becomes escalated, etc. But this is the beginning for the general public talking about generative AI. And of course, actually our team Tally. So if you know, our team actually works on lots of things. So in particular on MOOC and etc. Development. So we tried these kind of things starting from the summer already. And then here shows some of the results. If you notice, this is the Eastgate in Hong Kong Eastgate, and right now it's in renovation. So that's why we take photos, and we try to first of all try to change it into a Japan-like animations. And then we change to something else into even more Asian, Japan-like environment, etc. So with the trees, etc. So this can be done within through the Stable Diffusion, of course, with lots of prompting and also the control net, etc. So this, and we actually use it in some of the promotion for Hong Kong U degrees and projects already. So this is the Hong Kong U campus one. So and also you can see it's quite interesting. Yeah. So and then we can do something more. Okay, let's do something more, not just the Eastgate, but the main building is also a heritage, and we try to change it into some other formats. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's see if I can hide. Yes. So let's try some other formats. So of course, the bottom right one is also a Japanese animation style. So some Haising style. And then we also change to something else. So maybe this one is Gundam. So I believe most of us know about there will be a new Gundam series soon. Yes, or already. Yes, it should be on air already. So this is a Gundam style, and we have the cyberpunk style, and also the amusement park style. And you can see just like very like a Disneyland. So at night, so have the nice and then amusement park at background. So these are actually all done by Stable Diffusion. We try to synthesize. We first of all have a figure, and then with the prompting and changing with the control net and all some other plugins, we can have this kind of style. So it's quite interesting. Yeah. And I think, of course, this is just for our team for experimentation. So what can we do? And of course, so back to the AI drawing tools. So it's actually the law or the principle is, or the mechanism is just like one sentence. I can use one sentence for explanation. Using tons of images online, and then try to base and then train the model, and then build, and then later on, once we have the prompt, input prompt, and then we try to generate the images again. So I will talk about this next page, but let's talk about some examples first. For Stable Diffusion, so it's open source. So that's why you can see open source files online, and then some people are already deprecating on Hugging Face. So that's why you can see this is the Hugging Face. So, and then you can actually use this link, and then to get into the system already, I actually let me post the link again. So you can already using this environment, so online environment to draw things already or type things and then draw it. So free to use. So Stable Diffusion, it takes some time. So it's not very fast, but at least you can use it. And then for Midjounrey, which is the one who create this one. So they actually have the subscription base. So that's why $10, $10 US per month. So monthly subscription. And then you can have a better ownership for that. And then and also it actually is good for beginners for Midjounrey. So for typical users, for beginners, Midjounrey is a good option. But unfortunately, you have to charge. Stable Diffusion will be good for advanced users. So because they have so many parameters that can be tuned. So I can show you an example. So this is one of the Stable Diffusion platform. You can see with lots of settings here. So we will not go through this one by one, but just let you know, okay, for the advanced users, it's better to use a Stable Diffusion. For typical users, it's good to use a Midjounrey, but you have to pay. And then for Hong Kong U colleagues, so it's good because as mentioned by Professor Ian Holiday, so we will have the daily E2 available. So you can go get these tools through the API. So please check the Professor Ian Holiday's email. So they actually should be available for Hong Kong staff already, but it's a form of API. So you have to create your own user interface. So yes, that's the setting. So we will see if we can create a portal for staff maybe in the future. Okay, let's talk about something a little bit more detail. So you can see, as I mentioned at the last page, so we try to use tons of images found online, and then to generate the image. So what is that? It's actually talking about database. From here, you can see Google have their own materials, and then with different data sets, you can see 4.6 lots of materials. I mean, so and then they have the database, and then what the stable diffusion is the model. So this level and this next level. But for us as a general user, what we will observe is actually these levels, the user interface. So you can see the DALL-E E2, so available, produced by OpenAI and available for Hong Kong staff right now. And then Midjounrey, so and then also Stable Diffusion, something like this. So what we experience is this one, but actually behind the user interface is actually with a lot of materials, database, and then models, etc. But we don't go through those materials. If you are interested to know more about those technical things, so please check this this recording. So I call it from EEE. So Dr. Liu. So she actually got a lot of several awards in this area. So and recently just joined Hong Kong EEE. So that's why if you want to know more about text to image, technical details of text to image, so please contact him. Please contact her for more details. So there are several colleagues in CS and in EEE actually working on text to text and also text to image, etc. So please check the recordings. 1 hour, lots of details in the technical material. So please go for that. Okay, so but of course for us, we are laymen, so we will just want to create some images. So the previous are by my colleagues, professional multimedia colleagues for these graphics using Stable Diffusion. So maybe for layman users just like me, I haven't. I think my last drawing will be actually in secondary school already. So the arts class, or compulsory art class. And then later on, for 20 years, I haven't drawn anything. So, but this is the things that I start using Stable Diffusion. Midjounrey. So I also work on sustainability education advocacy. So that's why I want to draw some figures and shown here. These are all drawn by me or synthesized by me using text prompt. And then I use for advocacy, use for game design, and then so that's why for colleagues and students, you have to think. So you may want to draw something, but you have to find out your purpose. So because your purpose will affect your writing, and the writing will affect the images. So that's why if your purpose is to draw something like these advocacy things, as right now those GAI tools is good enough. But if you want to draw something very specific, want to draw something just like the science dissection diagram or body diagram, etc. If you really need a very precise definition or drawings, etc., then it will be quite difficult. So you need ControlNet and some other plugin to draw very specific drawings. But if you just want to express some of the ideas, I think Stable Diffusion or Midjounrey is good for you. So here's an example. So for me, it's just an example. I want to say, okay, I don't want just one leaf. I want 2 leaves, and I want the leaf to be green, to be yellow instead of green. So you will be found very difficult to have a very precise control on those images. But you can, if you have some other plugin, for example, control, that will be much more easy. So that's why, again, the purpose is very important, which affects which tools you use and how details you need. Okay, and then let's talk about some examples. So as I mentioned, we have the hanging face. So the basic version and advanced version, I can show you the basic function. So basic function is just like this one. So this is Stability AI, the one who create the model, and then Stable Diffusion. So here is a 2.1 version, and this is version 1 and version 2. The difference is, of course, 2.1 creates some more nice looking things, and then but it takes it takes longer time for generation. So let me pick this one, Stable Diffusion one as example. I just picked one. So okay, my prompt will be two medieval warriors traveling on a craft to a background castle, and then I can generate the image, and you can see it's already generating the images. So you can also try this online. I post the link already. So but you can see this is the things that they have. So it's not very appealing. So it may be something that we are not expecting. So and sometimes quite silly or funny. And of course, if you don't want, so just generate it again. So this is version 1, and very simple. Nothing can be changed. So just once we change change it, so you can see this may be a better one, but the problem is it's just half face, so you can see just half the body. You can't see the whole two warriors. So that's the problem in Stable Diffusion 1. They don't have some negative prompt. But of course, you can see later on there are also some other settings. Unfortunately, it's not working now. So you can see. So once I regenerate the image, they try to create something new. So every time it actually generate new images. So you can't get back to your original image or the previous image. So you remember to save it. And then you can see that this is more like a Asian drawings. And then of course you can change the prompt to make it photorealistic, etc., and then make it more like something else. And then there are some other options that you can, just unfortunately right now is unavailable. You can change the images. So instead of 4 or 2 or 8 images generate at the same time, the seed is the random number. So it's actually this seed will affect the images. And then steps is the resolution of the figures. So resolution of the figures, and then guidance scale, etc. So if you want to have generate an image very fast, so I suggest you to have less steps to have a faster image, but the details will be less detailed. And then this is a Stable Diffusion 1, and of course we can go for Stable Diffusion 2.1. So you can see 2.9 again. So you can see. Let me just copy and paste this one. So you can see. So the first one is still the positive prompt. So this is something that you expect to have. And we also have another 9, which is negative prompt, which is the things that you don't expect to have. So I will show you some negative prompt later on. So, but just I want to have a quick demonstration. So you can see from this 2.1 version, it takes much longer time. So the previous one, just 5, if you remember 5 to 6, but this one is 27. So you can see using a better engine, it takes longer time, but allows you to have a negative prompt, which make you can have some restrictions on the images. And then they also have the guidance level, just like this one, but you can again, this will affect the drawings, etc. You can have a test. Okay, so we spend longer time for drawings, but you can see the images in 2.1 is more details compared to version 1. And also we include this one, so the negative prompt, so which makes something we can control what should be shown on screen, something like that. And you can see. So let me pick this one. So but you can see these are still some silly drawings. So why there's an arrow on top of the head, etc. So you have to again use negative prompt to avoid this kind of things. So or we have to regenerate it. And you can see, I don't know this is 2 next or 3 next, but the leg is banned. So that's why there's although we have this one, so it's still not good enough. But I can talk about those negative form for humans later on. Okay, and then etc. So and you can draw something else like this one. This is yes, also still a bit silly, but and this one is mixed with the. So this is the knight, but I mentioned we should have 2 warriors, but here it shows instead of a warriors, it shows a horse. Should be so that's why you can see you need a very very detailed prompt to make it a good images. This is not something I just type a few words and it will give me something at the very beginning like this one. So it's not the case. So you can't just use 1 or 2 prompt and then create these images. You have a very long prompt. Okay, so let me show. So actually, if you want to draw the the things that I showed. So we just actually I just used this one. And if you really want to draw something very good, actually need this long explanation. So that's why I can show you just using this one. While we are generating, or the system generating, let me talk a little bit more about these things. So let me go to the slides first. So okay, so let's talk about some example. I use the Hugging Face to talk about some demonstrations. Talking about some demonstrations. We can do something else. For example, we can draw portrait. So like this one. This is the example that we demonstrate. So I actually copy from these examples. So I just copy this example, and then we draw it again. So you can see with a longer description, we're able to draw something more like looking. Yes, and in particular, you can see actually combining several components in the drawing. The first two is the major content. And then the which is the two knights, and then on the cliff, etc., on a mountain. And then the green one is actually the background. Okay. The background should be a coastline, like the English or Scottish or Irish one, just like and then ducky sky, so cloudy at the back. And then okay, some more reference, so which is a purple one. So okay, let's try something. Some of the references are Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and then King Arthur, etc. These are some examples. So, and then the last, these are those technical materials. Okay, so photorealistic. So instead of drawings or medieval art or classic art, so photorealistic. So that means it should be like a photo, and then lighting, and then cinematic composition, and then rule of first. That means it should be neither not placed in the middle or at the border, so it should be 1/3 away from the border. And then low contrast, natural lighting, etc., and then lots of things. And then rendering, so it can make it high resolution. So this is the positive prompt that we can include to make these figures. Okay, that's I believe this one, yes. So again, and as all we know, so I just replace the short one with a very long one, right? And then create the image again, and you can see, okay, this one is more appearance. Okay, so I use the same engine, but with a longer prompt, and then here shows the result. So this is something more like we expect. Okay, right? So two warriors, and then background, and then etc. And here shows this is still not okay because you can see just one warrior. Yeah, and then this one, two warrior. So and then yes, yes, if you went to those Scottish Highlands, so this is something you expect. So yes, so this is, so that's why it's true. And then of course this is an example, and then we can talk about negative prompt later. And then of course besides those things, we can do something else, landscape. So again, topic, background, details, aka rendering, lighting, etc. If you want to draw something for futuristic, this is some examples. Again, topics, and then some background, and then some settings, etc. You can find all these through this link. And then for inspiration, I think for drawing, more important is your imaginations. But if in order to build up your imagination, you need to have an extensive exposure of drawing. So it's very important for you to go to look at all kinds of things. Okay, so let's talk about positive prompt first. I will talk about negative prompt later on. Positive prompt, there are so many examples. So what I suggest, maybe we can first go to this one, and then this is some of the examples. So if you want to learn, okay, so what can I draw? What is the boundary or limitation of Stable Diffusion Midjourney? So you can actually go some of the examples. There are so many things that you can learn from it. So right now, for example, a home built in a soap bubble, and then doors, and then middle of space, cyberpunk. So, but with these explanations, you can have something like this. Yeah, so you can go through something interesting. So some unseen unseen creatures, and then yes, ducks. Yes, ducks again. Yeah, so it's actually more important for you is your creativity. So yeah, so but you have to change. You have to have lots of exposure. Yes, and you can see something like this. The joint has been changed. So because they change some of the wordings, I will talk about those wordings later on. And then just you can go through some of the examples later on. So this is the this is the one that I tried, right? 2 medieval warriors and then climbing, and then but you can see the drawings is quite different. And I skip some of the things. For example, the ratio of those drawings. So you can see there are so many things that you can go for. I don't check in details, but here just examples. So some drawings. And you can change into photorealistic such that the drawing is not like a drawing, it's a photo. So there are so many things that you can go for. I don't go in details. So this is for you to explore. Another example is okay, you don't know how to describe. There are some other okay, maybe this one. Yes, and this is another example. So okay, you may know some of the reference or styles, etc., but you don't know whether it's in the system or not. So maybe we can get one of them. That's design style. So this is the link that show okay for within the system there are different kinds of drawings patterns. So let's pick off some of them. Maybe we can pick the back case. Okay, so you can see. So if I change the design styles, I want to have a 1920. That means 100 years ago. At that time. So what will be the style of human or ladies or men or a human, etc. So you can actually add these material or these items or this and into your prompt, and then you can draw something like this. Okay. So and then you can go for 20s, 40s, 50s, and then later on, yes, and then 2000s, etc. And then yes, and then so some other examples. So this this database is for you to experience or to have look. Okay, what can we have or what can we include in the system? Okay, let me draw. Okay, design style again. Let me pick another style of theme. So let me see if it works. Themes maybe. Okay, yes, again. So okay, let's try something else. Chart or diagram. Yes, chart and diagram. You can see it's not. If you really want to use stable diffusion to create chart, I suggest not to do so because you can't control. That's why what you should use is the Canva AI. So we will talk about Canva AI next week. Okay, let me pick maybe something like simplicity. Yes. So you can see detail, simplicity, hyper detail. So with the different numbers or settings, so the prompts, so actually the system can create different things for you. Okay, and then maybe one more is the elegance. Yes, elegance. So beauty. So with different terms here, so they will provide different results. So the elegant will the drawing style will be different from beauty, and then something else and luxury, yeah, such as. And of course, let me go through one more. I want to show you is the style of drawing or the films. Let me go to this one. No. Let me pick artist. Maybe better is artist. So we can we start to touch something that is debatable. Is because you may want to replicate a certain style of an artist, and then artists are right now there are a group of artists in Japan and in somewhere else talking about, okay, you should not copy my style. So my style has a copyright, etc. So that's why I just want to show you this is possible, but whether you really want to use a certain artist style to draw something, you have to think carefully. Yes. But it's very slow sometimes. Okay, modern. Let me see, abstract maybe. Yeah. So this is some of them. Maybe modernism. So if you want to draw something else, so you can see this the artist, and then if you include this prompt, this item into the prompt, and then you will draw something similar to this artist style, etc. Maybe let go. Yeah, so you can see, yes, some more like medium age, medieval age, etc. Okay, so this is some explanation. There are so many things that you can explore. I don't go in details one by one. There are so many things. So, okay, not working well. Anyway, so here's just some reference for you. to try. So please go to this one by one. Maybe the last one is the cartoon, but not working well. So let's skip this. Okay, and we talk about positive prompts. That means the prompt that you want to show on screen. So it should be elegant, it should be beauty, it should be high resolution. I want to be photorealistic, etc. Those are the positive prompt. But we also have negative prompt. And I heard from online that actually in Stable Diffusion 2, version 2, negative prompt is very important. So I really suggest you to include this prompt by default. So to create something, to create your images. So here show some of the examples. So low resolution, avoiding. So this is a negative prompt, right? So that means avoiding low resolution, avoiding error, avoiding worse quality, avoiding watermark, avoiding out of frame, etc. So this is in general, but for portraits, so you can also avoid something. So avoid the deform and ugly, etc. and face cut. So don't just show half face. You should avoid showing half face. You should show all face. Avoid extra fingers. Okay. So one of the limitation for the drawing, but right now is better. In maybe 1 or 2 months ago, so they always some drawing have 6 fingers or 6 fingers and 4 fingers, etc. But right now the new Stable Diffusion actually and also Midjourney work much better for fingers. And then yeah, so these are something that you can avoid. Okay, we talk about writing the prompt by ourselves. So we talk about some reference. Let's talk about using GPT to write a prompt for us. Okay, if you go online and then search for prompt generator, so you can find some existing tools that can help you to write a prompt. Or if you have the access to ChatGPT, you can just copy the whole paragraph, and then later on you write your own role. So again, as is usual, the first few sentences talk about your roles. So add as a prompt generator. And then what you should do, so keep in mind, you should understand the drawing, understand language, and then give the example. So you should do this and that. And here shows an first example, which is the few short prompting. Prompting engine technique. And then once you copy and paste these prompt to GPT, and then you start to type something, for example, a professor, etc. And then the system will give you a very long prompt. Which is good because you can ask the system to write a very long prompt. With a longer prompt, the figure will be in more details. So you can ask the system, okay, and then based on this, after this system prompt, and then please write a Midjourney prompt for me on a professor's lecturing, and then the prompt should be more than 300 words, etc. So and then the system will give you a long prompt, and then the images will be very detailed. Okay. So we have okay. So we have some demonstrations on the drawing using Stable Diffusion as mentioned. So for Stable Diffusion, the detail may not be that detailed, but it will be faster. So if you just want to experiment or try, so you can go for Stable Diffusion one. You can see different kind of drawing. So if I change to something photorealistic. Photorealistic, something like that. I forgot. I will how to spell photo. EIC. Yeah, some. Let me. I forgot how to spell. So let me find it. Yes. Okay. If I draw something, so using this as a prompt, it should be better, not the Asian drawings. So let's see if it works. Still not working well. Yeah. So for Stable Diffusion one, yeah, Stable Diffusion 2 will be better, right? So we demonstrate Stable Diffusion 1, we demonstrate Stable Diffusion 2.1, and then these are all online and open source. So that's why you type online, and you can have a lot of duplicates. So you're able to find some free source already. And then okay, so if you are very detailed, you have something really interesting, so you can go for this one also. So text to image, right? So we have the positive prompt and then negative prompt. You can change your steps. So this is faster. This is more details. So you can change by your own. And then you have sampling method, which is something that for me, I also don't know. So, but this actually will affect your drawings. And then you can change your scale. So the last one we test is 512. So this is the largest of the image. And then you can change the size, the aspect, etc. I don't go in details, and also some more technical things. So this is for advanced colleagues of people who want to try something really advanced, and you can go for this. And you can see there's something here, image to image. So what's that? So I want to show this because some people may think, so just using text to draw something is not good enough. We want to try something more. So let me show you an example. Not an example, but here shows an example. So actually what we can do for image to image. So image to image. So what we can do is, okay, we draw a rough drawing. Okay, I assume this one is maybe drawn by my kid, maybe 3 to 4 years old or 5 years old. So this is this is maybe her best effort. Okay, actually let me say this. This is actually I get from online, but I expect maybe a child 5 years old may be able to draw something like this. And then okay, so once we can use this as a reference, actually and then fit into the system and then draw these again. So maybe once we input this one, so and then mention okay, draw the river in the middle and then mountain at the back. And then sky, cloudy sky at the back, and then with a castle or flower right here, bottom right. And then with this prompt, and then with these reference, figure reference, and then the system can generate something like this. Most of the time will be not easy to replicate the same thing. That's why I don't go for try this one. But you can do something like this. Maybe during the demonstration, during the hands-on time, you can try this also. Okay, so this is the stable diffusion, image to image. Okay, so providing a image sample for generation. So otherwise, if you just use a prompt, so mentioning middle river in the middle, mountain at the back, so it will be just the drawing will be different from what you expect. Okay, so having an image as a reference is better to generate a more relevant answer or image to you. Okay, so it's 1:10 p.m. So as I mentioned, that's my demonstration as well as the illustrations. So introduction as well as some demo and experimentation. I think we still have maybe 10 minutes. So or 5 to 7 to 8 minutes for all of you to have for even for colleagues or students or participants in this room, you can also go online Stable Diffusion. So just type this just search online Stable Diffusion one. You can already search online and to try something already. So let us try maybe 5 to 6 minutes, and then we can come back to answer some of the questions from colleagues and in this room as well as colleagues online. So we have around 80 colleagues and students online. Okay, so there are some things that you can try. So just type web UI Docker and then or this link you can get the materials already. Okay, so let's stop for 5 to 6 minutes and let's try. And for virtual colleagues, colleagues online, so please also try this, yeah. So and then to give us some ideas and expressions.
Why their face look a little bit strange?
Yes, because I think it's because the system if it actually goes back to image recognition or image processing, it's because the system cannot recognize this is a person or not. So that's why you can just identify, okay, this is just a cluster of pixels like this one. So this is so this group of pixels. So some people will define as a human head or something like that. So that's why for these images, they don't have a very detailed annotation. So actually the system actually don't have a very clear picture what is a rabbit, what is a human. Okay, they just recognize, okay, these are list of pixels. So that's why I think this is a very brief explanation. If you want the no detail, I think this talk from IDS explain clearly why the things become ugly, four fingers, 6 fingers, etc. Those are something because they are not using human to do all the annotations. I think in short. So that's why they don't have any idea what is ugly, what is beautiful. But you mentioned one thing, or I want to mention to colleagues in the virtual room is and also actually from colleagues in UST etc. mentioning the database is a US centric, so that's the major issue. So that's why if you type something, so the answer, if I don't want to give some examples, but if you type some yes, so there will be some bias. I mean, so that's why if you type an ugly person, so you will see the system will generate a certain kind of people. So that's the bias. So you can go online to search for that. So that's why, and also they have a very small database for Asian face. So that's why if you want to draw Asian face, is also difficult. So that's the problem of the data set. So that's why yes, a bias is a major issue in this kind of image generation. Yes, comparing to the ChatGPT. So ChatGPT still have some bias, but image generation have even more bias and sampling issues.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So yes. Okay. Lucy mentioned. So let me copy and paste the link again. So okay. So first of all, the materials, feel free to share the materials. So I just put the link again. So feel free to share the materials and then then the basic and the advanced the interface is actually open and public. So, and also not by us. So so that's why you can feel free to use materials. Feel free to share. We will provide recordings later on this. Yes, I may want to make some shorter videos for explanation, and we also have a list of videos on on Midjourney. So let me search for the materials right now and share on screen. Tally itself, we have our own system, but the problem is we don't have enough graphical card, graphical display card. So that's why we can't open to all colleagues and students. So, but if individual teachers, you want to just try by your own, you promise not to share to your students, and we have a system for you. Okay, so and you can use it and generate your images, but it's just for individual purpose. So for teachers want to contact us, want to use it, contact us. We have our own small system. Okay, so let me search for YouTube video first. Okay, maybe we can, we can stop at 10. We can spend 2 or 3 more minutes on drawing, and then see if colleagues have any questions or want to share your drawings, etc. We actually create 2 months ago. So we create 2 videos on this. So how to set up, how to write prompts, etc. So I can also post online. Yeah. So yes. So again, but things change a lot. So these few months, so some of the discussions that time become outdated already. Yeah, so this is the reality of generative AI age. Okay, maybe we can start the discussions again at 1:18. So 2 minutes later, and then to see if our colleagues or students, virtual or online, want to share your images or have any questions, so feel free to type right now, so I can answer at 10:18. And then maybe we can stop a little bit earlier, so finish today's workshop. So let's come back at 1:18. Okay, so let's come back. So yes, I want to draw something. So first of all, what I want to do is okay, I try the image to image. So it's you in generation, you can see in queue. So still waiting for generating. So meanwhile, also this one is still generating in progress. So yes, I just use the short description. I want to demonstrate whether this one. Yeah, so just using this was comparing to the image to image. You can see this one. Okay, so I use this reference image, I put inside it, and then the system generates something like this. So it's very similar to this original one, right? And then what you see is a mountain at the back, very far away, and a river in the middle. This one, I mentioned in the castle at the bottom right corner. I expect should be this one, but he changed to at the back. So not bottom right. But so this is still something we need to modify. But you can see at least sort of actually copying the style of the images. So if you go back to this one, so you can see things are quite different. So that's why a demonstration. Okay, image with an image to image, this is something that we can control some of our drawing. But if you use this one, it will be very difficult to replicate. You may need a very long negative prompt and positive prompt in order to generate something really like this one. So image to image is an important tool for you. Okay, so that's the end of my part. So again, right now is questions for colleagues within this room and virtual, or if you want to share your drawings, so this is the time. So any colleagues? Yes, yes. Okay, Jacqueline mentioned, so how to create series of images for story-based learning. So, okay, you want to create a picture. Yeah, so this is if we want to join something consistent and with some very specific restrictions, or you want to place the head like this, or you have to control the degree of the hands, etc. So you need to use control net. So there are lots of plugins for Stable Diffusion. So the Stable Diffusion is online. So that's why it's open source. That's why you can have lots of plugins, etc. So and then there are also lots of open source plugin system. And then you need to install those control net and then can do lots of things. So like this one. So another example is if you want to draw something similar, so you can use the image to image. So as shown here. So image to image. So that's why you can replicate similar things, or you can include the seed. If you remember here, it does have the seed, right? So in Midjourney, they able to show you the seed. So that's why if you use the same seed, they can generate something similar, but again, not precise and specific. So that's why several options. Neither you have a long prompt, or you define your own seed. In particular Midjourney, or you use the image to image function, or you have to copy it and then use a Photoshop to paste on it. So and then again this more or the fourth way is to use control net. So some other plugins is the Stable Diffusion to draw something consistent. As I mentioned, this is the problem of creations. Is for Midjourney. As simple drawings, it's difficult to draw something consistent. Yeah, so if you need to draw something very specific like this one, so we spend time and effort to install these and do all kinds of testing. Yeah, so this is some unfortunate. Of course, if you want to draw a series of images, so contact me. I can pass the question to my colleague, and then they may instruct you how to do something, create something very similar. But this is like typical my response to you on this question. And again, of course, copyright issues, everybody have to be assured. So because yeah, so for example, this Gundam style, so we should not use for public use, etc. So because it's Gundam, so Gundam belongs to a certain animation company. Yeah, so but these two are fine, but this one is Gundam-like, so this is a problem. And this one is also a certain kind of Japanese animation company or the artist, so it also have potential copyright issues. So that's why you have to be very confident. Yeah, you have to think of these in details on how you use and whether you own materials, etc. So can you share the prompt to create those Hong Kong U images? You can send me an email. I can pass the request to my colleagues and let them tell you the prompts. Yes. So I don't have any idea yet. So I remember they use the long of the length of this will be something like this. So not that long as this one, but it will be something like this one. The length of the prompt. So you can send me a request. I can tell my colleagues. So what's the prompt? Yeah. Okay. So any comments from online audience or from this room? Okay, if no, so then let's stop at 1:24. So again, thanks for joining. We will have the next workshop next Monday on Canva AI. So most of the things are Canva, but we touch AI a little bit at the end. So on image drawing as well as something else. So Canva AI drawing is okay. So and also they have something interesting. So and it's good for you if you want to draw something on first of all, it's not good for making posters using Stable Diffusion. So don't try that. So you will create something funny and interesting. So don't use that to put every. One thing that I tried before is just copy and paste my own manuscript. Okay, the whole paper manuscript and put into Stable Diffusion and see what will generate. So and then you will generate something funny and interesting and not helpful. So you have to make it clear. Anyway. So thanks for joining. We will share the recordings and materials later on. Okay, so see you everybody. Thank you, John. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.